Hey everybody, it's Brian, your friendly neighborhood reviewer, and today on the showcase, I am going to take a look at the Electric Light Orchestra's 1977 double album, Out of the Blue. Kind of a magnum opus for Jeff Lynne. This is just a cool album. I'll probably just be lavish with praise, but we'll do a little showcase. This whole cover was designed by the Koch Company. Koch is similar to Storm Thurgerson and Hypnosis. They were art designers and graphic designers, and they designed album covers. This is one of Koch's designs. This was taking the spaceship from the previous ELO album, A New World Record, which they designed the spaceship logo for that one as well. So they took that to the upteenth degree and made this extraordinary thing. But I tell you, this is really cool. I love this album cover. One of the neatest album covers. You've got, of course, the ship, the yellow logo. You got the little dock here with the little shuttle's license plate, which actually is this is the original copy from Jet Records and United Artists, but this has got the serial number on that on the plane on the shuttle. It's kind of cool. But anyway, this has got some neat stuff on it. Of course, the back cover and the inside. I mean, inside cover is really neat. The astronauts and all that. This is really cool. I remember my my parents had a record rack, metal record rack, as most parents probably did in the 70s, 80s. But they had some records on there. A lot of them were my brother's. This was one of them. And of course, the spaceship. It just kindles a young boy's imagination. But this is a great album. I always loved listening to this. I love the album cover. I know when I did my top 25, I put El Dorado as my favorite ELO album. If it was now, this would be it. I would change that to this. This is just a killer album. This is Jeff Lynne at the top of his form, really. This also had coming with it because there's a lot of stuff with it, but had a neat little poster with it with all the band members. Jeff Lynne, Bev Bevan, of course the drummer, very unique sound, ELO. He was an original member. Then of course you got Richard Tandy, Kelly Grocott. You got the Mick Kaminsky, Hugh McDowell, and I think Melvin Gale. I think is the other cellist. Really, really cool group. Um, but so we got that. And then we've got this here too, because this is cool. Because it's American. This original American copy of the from the United Artists and Jet. This album was a bit of controversial at the time, not because of the music or anything, which is fantastic. They were coming off the New World Record tour, so they were really big. But it was controversial at the time because Jet Records was with United Artists. Okay, United Artists was with had released all ELO's albums up to that time, up till '77. Okay, and this album was also released at United Artists. The problem is that United Artists switched companies and went to EMI, if I'm not mistaken. So when they did that, they kind of broke their contract with Jet Records. So Jet Records sued them, and in turn went to CBS. Well, because that happened, a lot of albums, these original albums, had been sent to record stores. Okay, when they did that, Jeff Lynne ended up suing Jet Records because they had to pull all the albums and throw them in the cutoff bins, and then reissue the album on Jet CBS Records. So this is neat. It's got the lyrics all on the front and back on these. Really good to have lyrics on this one. This is a good lyric album. Jeff Lynne is a very good lyricist. He doesn't get credit enough for that, but he is a very good lyricist. I'll show you this last goodie real quick. This is neat. This is the the cutout spaceship that came with the American version. So this is cool. You form it, and it goes on your record player. And it's kind of neat. It's kind of a cool little thing. So that's a neat bonus too that you got there. So that's the controversial thing. And then Jeff Lynne ended up suing Jet Records too because he thought that he lost a lot of money because of the because of what was happening between Jet Records, United Artists, and CBS, EMI, all that stuff. But anyway, so that's what that happens. That's the big controversy of this. Not really a lot of. I mean, the main background of this is that he had come off the tour, the New World Record tour, and he had kind of isolated himself into a Swiss chalet in Switzerland. And unfortunately, he wanted to. He wanted to write the album, and he thought it'd be a good way to write the album. Unfortunately, he said it was very gloomy, very rainy. And then he was having writer's block really bad. Jeff Lynne was. So one day the sun came out. It looked beautiful. The Swiss Alps, I'm sure, was very inspiring. And the sun coming out, and all that inspired Mr. Blue Sky. From Mr. Blue Sky, he went through Concerto for a Rainy Day and did all the other songs and all that. And then he wrote the whole thing within a month. I think 3.5 weeks, something like that. And then he went to Munich, Germany, and recorded it, and recorded a lot of the lightning effects and the rain effects and all that. This is really interesting because lyrically, a lot of people they do review this album, but they never bring up the fact that 1977 Jeff Lynne was going through a divorce, and he was going through a hard time. And lyrically, this album reminds me so much, in a way, of Elton John and Bernie Taupin's Blue Moves album. Lyrically, it does, because Bernie Taupin was going through a divorce as well during that album, and the lyrics are very poignant and very to the point and very descriptive of what he was going through. This too is very has some bite into it because the lyrics are not fluff. They're really talking about separating lovers, relationships that break up or that don't last, lovers that are or just relationships in which they're far apart and trying to get back to each other. So it has that, and then also the weather. He uses the weather to color everything on this album. Blue has always been Jeff Lynne's favorite color. He loves the word blue. He uses a lot of that imagery on this album. So it's neat how he uses the weather and the sound effects and everything to bring to life the emotional upheavals he was having at this time because the divorce he was going through. So that gives this record some depth and some bite to it that it might not maybe otherwise have. But this is just an extraordinary pop masterpiece. There's no other way to describe it. Everything on this thing works. Um, this album, the one big criticism that this album has had is that it's a little too slick, maybe, and maybe it's a little too commercial. I don't find that at all. It is slick. I will give you that. It is a bit not overproduced, but certainly lush and lavish. If you can imagine, since we're talking Beatles, and ELO went and took over where the Beatles left off, basically. Imagine the White Album coupled with the production of Abbey Road, and then you have an idea of what Out of the Blue is like. That slick Abbey Road production with the songwriting genius. You just can't match that. This has things going on that the rockers, the little the bits in between, the weaving of the orchestral of big wheels turning, kind of weaving that in and out. The studio tricks he does, the sound effects, that shimmering sound effect on the beginning of Starlight, which he said was inspired by the Swiss mountains at nighttime, the starlight and all that. So, and there is a little bit of disco feel in this, kind of preluding the next album they would do, Discovery. But it's kept to a minimal, and it works fine. I don't have a problem with disco music anyway, but as long as it's good. But it's just dance music with the beat. But the vocoder was used a lot on this, and it also kind of gives it a thematic unity because it's used on every side. But we'll go through some of the tracks real quick. Turn to Stone, fantastic opening. I mean, classic rocker, kind of like the spaceship. It's sleek and it just shoots right across the sky, and the way it comes open, it's almost like a spaceship landing, on your front lawn or something like that. I always have the image, with the speeding and all that. It's just a neat track. It suits that image very well. The UFO flying through the sky, because it has that sonic impact to it. Great song. Again, talking about Turn to Stone when you're gone. Again, missing his love. All right, then the second song, It's Over. It's Over is a just one of the best numbers. A perfect album track. A perfect album track. It was released as a single. I think it did barely scrape the 100 here in the States, but I think it did good in Europe. But again, and that da 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 that middle. I love that middle section he does with the keyboard. Oh, that's great. I love that. He just that little stuff like that. It's what, and then what I call the Liberace piano in it. That dun 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 dun. Little touches like that is what makes this album so neat. It just peppers each track with little sonic things that just makes your ears perk up. Really good. And then Sweet Talking Woman, the big hit. A little bit disco, but just a perfect pop rock song. It deserves every success it has. So fantastic. And then it ends with Across the Border, another clever track, which starts with the train, and then you get because he's trying to get across the border to Mexico. He's in New Orleans and trying to get to his love, and then so you have the mariachi band that comes in, and that it's just great. I mean, they're sonically, lyrically, musically, it's perfect. Just a great, fantastic opening side. That's side one. Then you flip over the second side, and you got Night in the City, which again talking about lovers, missing the boat, missing fate, talking about trying to get to the one that you love and you're not, and the things get in the way. So it's always that. And then, but that Night in the City is just one of his. There's rockers on here that are not as well known that should be well known. That is one of them. That is just a fantastic track. That get you, you still want to get you. That I mean, I love that. That you cannot go wrong with little stuff like that. That's Paul McCartney stuff. Paul McCartney does that kind of stuff, little codes and things. And then you got Starlight, which again, a fantastic number. That shimmering at the beginning. That's the kind of little peppery things I'm talking about that makes these tracks just perk your ears up. Kind of like a medium tempo sort of ballad, but it's got some oomph to it. Really good track. Great track from him. And then Jungle. I just freaking love Jungle. I tell you what, that just tickles me every time I hear it. It always reminds me of Maurice Sendak's Where the Wild Things Are. I wonder if he probably got the inspiration from that. But instead of having monsters, he just has the jungle animals dancing. Because when they go into that and they dance, that section where they do that and the percussive, I swear I think of Where the Wild Things Are and Max and all that every time. But so it's neat. I love that track. That is just a fun track. So that leads into Believe Me Now, which is a nice instrumental, and it leads right into Stepping Out, which is one of his best ballads. A really really good ballad. He always felt like he didn't sing as well, I think, but it's fantastic. I don't know what he would complain about. Again, second side, classic. And then we go to the masterpiece, Concerto for a Rainy Day. This is just one of ELO's masterpieces. This is one of Jeff Lynne's greatest things he ever did. Again, and it's almost in a way recovering from a bad relationship. So standing in the rain, you're standing in the rain, you're left out in the cold, your love is gone or whatever. So that's basically this condition. Then you go into Big Wheels, which Big Wheels has some amazing lyrics on that. I love the lyrics on that. I've been thinking it over so many times. They say, "You got it made." They never understand. The answer lies within. The answer lies within your soul, because no one knows which side the coin will fall. Big wheels turning. I love that. I got blessed from that from Jeff Lynne because he's right. People say you got it made because you got money or you got this or you got fame. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If you die, it doesn't matter. All that goes is gone. What matters is your soul. That's what matters. Being content and have peace in your soul. You can't buy that for nothing in this world. But I got blessed from that. I really did. So I appreciate that from Jeff Lynne. But Big Wheels, again, the guy contemplating his fate, his girls left him. But then it goes into Summer and Lightning, where you have some resolution. Summer and Lightning's a great one though. That section, almost reggae in the middle, that just kills me every time. Again, the songwriting genius of Jeff Lynne just shines through every single track on this. By the way, Big Wheels is one of the greatest ballads he's ever done. Probably one of the greatest ballads ever written. Period. That that escalation, that turning, turning, turn, and he goes way up there. Like, oh my goodness, that's incredible. His singing on that is incredible. And then it goes right into Mr. Blue Sky, one of his greatest songs of all time. And I love that running down the avenue and that again, the tricks he does, amazing. That's the kind of stuff the Beatles would do. And then the ending with the vocoder saying, "Please turn me over." That's funny. That's a Beatles kind of thing they would do, something like that in the White Album. And then you do turn it over, and you're greeted with "Sweet as the Night." Uh, you know, just a beautiful song. You know, the lyrics are fantastic. I mean, his lyrics. There's so much that could have gone wrong with this album, but it didn't. This album is just killer. This is one of the greatest double albums ever released. I mean, it just is. But "Sweet Night" is fantastic. That's a great number. And then it goes into the whale, which is kind of like a breather, kind of like the breather on this album. Kind of an Eno-esque kind of ambient tune. It's got a nice little hook on it. It's got Richard Tandy doing some great stuff on the keyboards. It's got some real whale sounds mixed in with electronic sounds. It's got an expansive feel to it. It's very well done. Something like Todd Rundgren would have on Something Anything. This is something he would do easily. Just a great. It's just a great instrumental. Um, good use of keyboards. It shows what a prog rock band they really are at heart. But that goes on to Birmingham Blues, which shows you that they're a rock band, definitely at heart. Um, that's a killer guitar riff, and I did that's something else too. When you look at the ELO live, okay, and you see them using the strings, they're particular people. You know, Meek Kaminsky, uh, Melvin Gale, and Hugh McDowell. They're two cellists and the violin. They don't sit in the background and just make pretty little melodies to accommodate the song. They are up front with Jeff Lynne, just sawing away, partying. I mean, it is neat to see. I have never seen anything like that. If you ever get a chance, I think YouTube has some footage of them live. Watch ELO live. Amazing to see live. I know my buddy Kevin saw them on tour. I think he said with the spaceship and all that, which was during probably this tour. So that would have been neat to see too. So that's cool. But yeah, Birmingham Blues is a killer track. Bluesy, rockin', just killer. I just everything ELO does great. And then the last song, Wild West Hero. Wow, just wow. This is Jeff Lynne's Paperback Writer. I'm just going to say that, not because it's similar as far as the song structure or anything, but because the reception. Paperback Writer from the Beatles, um, when it was released, was not universally praised. In fact, it was kind of dismissed at the time because it was so damn clever. They dismissed the lyrics, which wasn't like profound, but it was clever. I thought it was very clever. Uh, but the sophistication on that paperback writer and the B side Rain, which is one of the first psychedelic numbers that John Lennon did, discovered backward tapes with that. So he was a bit stoned that night, I think. But paperback writer is extremely clever, really advanced in its writing, advanced in its recording, and was not appreciated at the time. Wild West Hero is advanced in its writing and its recording, and was not appreciated at the time. That's the comparison I have. Wild West Hero is one of Jeff Lynne's greatest compositions, without a doubt. The horse ride at the beginning, you hear it in the background. You hear the barrel house, honky tonk piano breaks. You hear the acapella, almost like a campfire, and you're hearing by an acapella. You can almost picture these cowboys singing by a fire, not the blazing saddle scene. But anyway, but this is an amazing composition, and the lyrics are cute. They're cute and wistful and sweet. Something the Beatles would have done. Definitely something Paul McCartney would have done. It closes the album perfectly. Absolutely closes the album perfectly. I can't say enough about it. This is just this album right here. This album right here is without a doubt Jeff Lynne's peak as a songwriter, as a singer, as a record maker. This is an incredible piece of work. Um, like I said, I like Discovery that comes after this. I think that's a classic. If you don't mind the disco, I don't mind some of the disco. That it doesn't mind. It's got "Shine the Love," "Don't Bring Me Down," all that on it. Yeah, whatever. And I like the Xanadu soundtrack. I think he had some good work on that. And I like Time. The last two albums are, but this is still ELO's absolute peak, and this is one you had to have in your collection. This is a fantastic album. I mean, that cover, come on, this is great. You gotta have this. There's no way. But lyrically, it's fantastic. Musically, it's fantastic. Production wise, it is brilliant. Uh, I can't say enough about it. This is just again, this is probably my favorite ELO album. I would have switched Eldorado for this, although I love Eldorado too. But yeah, great killer album, man. Um, Definitely gotta have it. Nah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything. Take care of yourself. Love God. Love each other. Um, Later.